There is something undeniably fascinating about characters who refuse to fit into neat little boxes of good and evil. And honestly, that is exactly why morally gray leads keep stealing the spotlight in K-dramas. Perfect heroes can be inspiring, sure, but flawed characters, the ones who bend rules, make questionable choices, and sometimes do the wrong thing for what they believe is the right reason, feel so much more human. These are the characters who make us argue with ourselves while watching, because we may not approve of what they do, but somehow we still understand them. And that's what makes these 5 K-dramas so compelling. They challenge us to rethink justice, morality, and what it really means to be a hero. Lawless Lawyer. Let's start with Lawless Lawyer, because Bong Sang-pil is exactly the kind of anti-hero who makes you question whether justice always has to look clean and proper. On paper, he is a lawyer, but in practice, he operates like someone who knows the legal system is too broken to defeat corruption through ordinary means. And honestly, that's what makes him such a thrilling character to watch. He is not the polished courtroom hero giving noble speeches every episode. He fights dirty when necessary, uses intimidation, exploits loopholes, and isn't afraid to get his hands dirty if it means taking down people who believe they are untouchable. What makes Sang-pil interesting is that his moral ambiguity never feels random. His methods are shaped by trauma, loss, and the environment he grew up in. He is someone trying to honor his mother's wish while surviving in a world where the law often protects the powerful instead of the innocent. Pair that with Ha Jae-yi, who is equally fiery and frustrated with the failures of justice, and you get a duo that feels electric. Personally, I think this drama works because it forces viewers to ask a difficult question. If the system itself is corrupt, can breaking the rules ever be justified? And I really want to know, would you root for someone like Sang-pil in real life, or only in fiction? The Devil Judge. Now, the Devil Judge takes moral ambiguity to another level by turning justice itself into spectacle. Kang Yo-han is one of those characters who keeps you hooked because you never fully know where he stands. Is he a reformer exposing corruption in a rotten society, or is he manipulating public outrage for his own agenda? That uncertainty is what makes him magnetic. The live courtroom concept in this drama feels disturbingly relevant, especially in a world where public opinion often acts like judge and jury before facts are even clear. Yo-han presents justice in a way that feels theatrical, almost dangerous, and yet there are moments when you cannot help but agree with him. That is where the drama becomes addictive. Kim Ga-eun represents the audience's doubt. He is skeptical, cautious, and constantly questioning whether Yo-han is hero or villain. What I personally love here is how the drama never gives easy answers. It trusts viewers to sit in discomfort. Yo-han is not likable because he is morally pure. He is fascinating because he reflects how messy justice becomes when society loses faith in institutions. Watching this drama, I kept wondering, if corruption is everywhere, how far should one person go to destroy it before becoming corrupted themselves? I Remember You. I Remember You is quieter than the others on this list, but psychologically, it may be the most unsettling. Lee Hyun is haunted not just by unsolved crimes, but by the terrifying possibility that darkness might exist within himself. That premise alone makes this drama gripping, because it is not just about catching criminals, it is about identity, trauma, and whether people are born monsters or shaped into them. Lee Hyun is brilliant, emotionally distant, and often difficult to read, which makes him such a compelling lead. His ability to understand criminal minds is both his greatest strength and his greatest burden. The deeper he digs into cases tied to his past, the more the line between hunter and hunted begins to blur. And then there are the side characters, especially the ones whose true motives remain hidden, constantly forcing viewers to question appearances. What makes this drama stand out for me is how it plays with perception. Every character seems to carry secrets, and nobody is entirely innocent. It is one of those shows where you find yourself analyzing every glance and every line of dialogue. Honestly, this is the kind of drama that stays with you because it asks a chilling question. If someone understands evil deeply enough, does that bring them dangerously close to becoming it? Psychopath Diary. If the previous dramas are morally intense, Psychopath Diary takes a completely different route by mixing dark psychology with comedy, and surprisingly, it works brilliantly. The genius of this drama lies in its absurd premise. A harmless, bullied office worker loses his memory, finds a psychopath's murder diary, and becomes convinced he is the killer. That alone creates one of the most bizarre and entertaining identity crises in K-drama history. Yuk Dong-shik is fascinating because he is not actually evil, yet believing he is a psychopath changes the way he behaves. Suddenly, he becomes bold, assertive, and fearless. It is hilarious, but also strangely thought-provoking. What does it say about human nature that confidence can emerge from believing the worst about yourself? Meanwhile, the real psychopath, So In-woo, is chilling in the opposite way. Calm, polished, and terrifyingly controlled. What I admire most about this drama is how cleverly it balances humor and suspense without losing tension. It makes us laugh at mistaken identity while still delivering real psychological stakes. And let's be honest, the chemistry between the fake psychopath and the real one is weirdly perfect. This show proves that morally gray storytelling does not always need to be heavy. It can also be wildly entertaining. The Judge from Hell. And then we have The Judge from Hell, which may be the boldest concept on this list. A demon judge forced into human form to punish remorseless killers already sounds intriguing. But what makes this drama special is Justicia herself. She is ruthless, unapologetic, and operates with a brutal sense of justice that completely ignores human emotional nuance. Unlike traditional heroines who gradually soften into compassion, Justicia begins from a place of cold authority. She is not interested in morality as humans understand it. She only cares about fulfilling judgment. That creates a fascinating tension when she enters the human world, especially in her interactions with Han Da-on, whose own moral compass is far more grounded in empathy. What I find refreshing here is that the drama never tries to make Justicia conventionally lovable. She remains sharp-edged, difficult, and morally complex. The fantasy mythology adds depth, but the real hook is watching a character who literally comes from hell navigate human justice. And honestly, isn't that such an interesting metaphor? Sometimes outsiders expose truths that insiders have become blind to. These 5 dramas prove that morally gray leads are often the most unforgettable because they reflect the contradictions we all wrestle with in real life. People are rarely all good or all bad, and these characters remind us that the most interesting stories happen in that uncomfortable middle ground where motives clash, ethics blur, and every decision comes with consequences. So now I want to hear from you. Which morally gray K-drama character do you think was the most unforgettable? And is there one drama you think should have made this list? Because honestly, this genre keeps giving us some of the richest characters in television, and I do not think we are done debating them anytime soon.